Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. Differential privacy is one of the most rigorous and influential frameworks developed to protect individual data while still allowing valuable insights to be drawn from datasets. At its core, it provides formal mathematical guarantees that prevent re-identification of individuals, even when adversaries have access to powerful background knowledge. Unlike traditional anonymization, which can often be reversed with sufficient auxiliary data, differential privacy ensures that the inclusion or exclusion of any single record does not significantly affect the overall output. This is achieved through controlled introduction of statistical noise, which obscures the contribution of individual records without destroying the utility of aggregate data. Because of its balance between mathematical rigor and practical application, differential privacy has become widely researched, piloted, and increasingly deployed in real-world settings. The core mechanism of differential privacy revolves around ensuring outputs are insensitive to changes in any one record. This means that whether or not an individual's data is included in a dataset, the statistical summaries or model outcomes look essentially the same. By making the influence of each individual negligible, the system provides a form of statistical protection that is provable rather than assumed. This balance is managed through a parameter known as epsilon, which defines the strength of the privacy guarantee. The challenge, of course, is balancing the strength of privacy against the usefulness of the resulting data. Too much privacy can obscure meaningful patterns, while too little fails to protect individuals. Noise addition is the most recognizable technique in differential privacy. By injecting random noise into outputs, whether counts, averages, or gradients, the system prevents exact reconstruction of the underlying data. The amount of noise added directly correlates with the level of protection. Larger amounts of noise increase privacy guarantees but can reduce the accuracy of results, while smaller amounts provide clearer insights but weaker protection. The art of applying differential privacy lies in choosing noise levels appropriate for the use case, balancing the needs of data utility with the imperative of confidentiality. This balancing act highlights the tension between technical precision and ethical responsibility. The privacy budget, represented mathematically by epsilon, is what makes differential privacy uniquely accountable. Epsilon quantifies the risk of disclosure. A smaller epsilon indicates stronger privacy but potentially less accurate results, while a larger epsilon increases accuracy at the cost of weaker guarantees. Importantly, epsilon is cumulative. Every time a query is answered or a model is trained, some portion of the budget is consumed. This requires careful planning and monitoring to avoid overexposure. Organizations adopting differential privacy must therefore track privacy spending as they would financial resources, ensuring that their practices remain sustainable and within acceptable risk thresholds. Differential privacy has already found concrete applications in data release, especially for aggregated statistics. A prominent example is the United States Census Bureau, which has employed differential privacy to release population-level statistics while protecting individual respondents. The framework is also used in sharing aggregated analytics from large datasets, enabling researchers and policymakers to work with data without exposing sensitive details. Public data portals increasingly apply differential privacy to balance openness with confidentiality, especially where data relates to vulnerable populations. These applications demonstrate how the method bridges the gap between the societal need for data and the individual right to privacy. In the realm of machine learning, differential privacy plays an equally important role. Techniques such as differentially private stochastic gradient descent modify the training process itself, ensuring that individual data points do not leave detectable traces in the trained model. This means that even if adversaries probe the model with repeated queries, they cannot reliably infer information about specific records in the training data. This approach is especially relevant for deep learning, where models are known to memorize details of their training sets. By embedding privacy protections directly into the training loop, organizations can limit exposure and meet regulatory or ethical expectations without abandoning the power of advanced learning techniques. Federated learning combines particularly well with differential privacy, creating a layered approach to data protection. In federated setups, training occurs locally on devices or servers, and only aggregated updates are shared with the central system. When differential privacy is added, these updates are further protected with noise, making it even harder to infer information about individuals. This synergy reduces risks in distributed environments, such as healthcare networks or financial institutions, where data cannot be easily centralized due to sensitivity or regulation. The result is collaborative model development without the same exposure risks that centralized training entails. This combination of local learning and formal privacy guarantees illustrates how multiple strategies can reinforce one another for more responsible AI. Evaluating privacy guarantees is both a mathematical and practical exercise. Formal metrics define how strong protections are, but these must always be weighed against the accuracy of the model or dataset. For critical contexts such as healthcare, formal proofs of privacy may be necessary to demonstrate compliance or safety. Transparency also plays a role here, as organizations should communicate their chosen epsilon values openly rather than treating them as hidden parameters. By making guarantees explicit, practitioners not only strengthen accountability, but also help users and regulators understand the trade-offs between privacy and utility. In this way, evaluation is about both technical correctness and social trust. Operational challenges often complicate the adoption of differential privacy. Implementing these methods at scale requires significant technical expertise, as misconfigured parameters can undermine guarantees entirely. The reduction in accuracy caused by noise can also discourage adoption, particularly in commercial settings where performance is closely tied to competitive advantage. Another challenge is awareness. Many practitioners remain unfamiliar with how to apply differential privacy or interpret its guarantees. Without sufficient education and tooling, the barrier to entry can be high. These hurdles do not diminish the importance of differential privacy, but highlight the need for better integration, training, and support in order to make it practical for everyday use. Fortunately, a growing number of toolkits and frameworks are making differential privacy more accessible. The OpenDP initiative provides open-source libraries that standardize methods for research and practice. TensorFlow Privacy extends the popular machine learning library with privacy-preserving capabilities, while PyTorch offers similar implementations for training with noise. These frameworks integrate differential privacy into existing workflows, reducing the need for organizations to build solutions from scratch. As they mature, such toolkits will make it easier for practitioners to adopt differential privacy without sacrificing too much performance or introducing critical errors in configuration. This accessibility is a key factor in moving from theory to widespread adoption. The sector-specific relevance of differential privacy is already evident. In healthcare, it helps protect sensitive patient data when developing predictive models or sharing aggregate statistics. In finance, transaction-level privacy safeguards reduce the risk of exposing individuals in fraud detection or credit scoring systems. Government agencies rely on it to release public statistics without compromising confidentiality, as seen in national censuses. Technology companies use it to manage user data responsibly, particularly when handling large-scale analytics that would otherwise present risks of re-identification. These use cases underscore that differential privacy is not a theoretical curiosity, but a practical tool with wide-ranging applications. Monitoring privacy budgets is one of the more unique aspects of differential privacy in practice. Just as organizations track financial expenditures, they must also track how much of their privacy budget has been spent. Each query, report, or model training run consumes part of epsilon, meaning that overuse can weaken guarantees. Dashboards and monitoring tools are increasingly being developed to help governance teams track this spending in real time. Organizational thresholds can be established to define acceptable levels of disclosure risk, ensuring that teams do not unintentionally overspend the privacy budget. This monitoring transforms privacy from an abstract principle into a measurable, manageable resource. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Regulatory alignment is giving differential privacy increasing momentum as both a best practice and a compliant strategy. Data protection laws are beginning to recognize it explicitly, citing it as a recommended safeguard against re-identification. Privacy frameworks such as those guiding government statistics often use it as a benchmark for responsible data release. With the rise of artificial intelligence regulations, differential privacy is poised to feature more prominently as a way to balance innovation with individual rights. Organizations that adopt it can provide strong evidence of compliance, demonstrating that they have gone beyond minimal safeguards to implement mathematically rigorous protections. This positioning makes differential privacy not only a technical choice, but also a strategic one for governance. Scalability is a central consideration when deploying differential privacy in large systems. On the one hand, the framework is highly feasible, with applications already proven in national censuses and global technology platforms. On the other hand, computational overhead can be significant, especially when training deep models with noise. Infrastructure investments may be required to manage both performance and cost effectively. Organizations must weigh accuracy trade-offs carefully, ensuring that privacy goals are met without undermining business or service objectives. Scalability, therefore, is less about theoretical limits and more about practical engineering decisions, balancing privacy, accuracy, and efficiency. Integration with the AI lifecycle ensures that differential privacy is not an isolated measure, but part of ongoing governance. During pre-processing, noise can be added to aggregated data before training begins. During training, methods like differentially private stochastic gradient descent embed privacy into the model itself. Monitoring during deployment ensures that outputs remain protected, while decommissioning practices may require additional safeguards for archiving or deleting data. Treating differential privacy as a recurring theme across the lifecycle makes it more effective and reduces the risk of accidental lapses. This approach reflects the broader shift toward embedding privacy at every stage, rather than confining it to one-off interventions. Transparency in communication is critical for differential privacy to succeed socially as well as technically. Guarantees must be explained in plain language, helping non-technical stakeholders understand what protections are actually in place. For example, instead of only presenting an epsilon value, communicators might explain that it measures how much an individual's data can change the output, with smaller numbers reflecting stronger protection. Avoiding misrepresentation is vital. Overstating the guarantees risks eroding trust if limitations are later revealed. Providing context and reporting methods alongside results ensures that privacy promises are credible and comprehensible. This transparency builds trust with both users and regulators. Ethical implications further strengthen the case for adopting differential privacy. By protecting individual contributions, the method upholds autonomy, ensuring that people can participate in datasets without fear of exposure. It helps prevent harmful re-identification that could otherwise lead to discrimination, embarrassment, or loss of trust. At the population level, it ensures that aggregated insights remain fair and representative without sacrificing individual confidentiality. Equity is also served, since all individuals benefit from the same level of protection, regardless of demographic group. In this way, differential privacy is not only a technical safeguard, but also an ethical commitment to fairness and respect. Looking ahead, the future of differential privacy promises significant developments. Advances in algorithms are expected to improve the utility of noisy outputs, reducing accuracy trade-offs. Integration into commercial platforms is likely to broaden, making differential privacy accessible even to organizations without deep mathematical expertise. Standardization of privacy budget reporting may emerge, creating consistent expectations across industries. Adoption in multimodal AI systems handling text, images, and audio simultaneously will expand its reach into new domains. As these developments unfold, differential privacy will continue to mature from a specialized technique into a mainstream pillar of responsible data governance. Organizational responsibilities play a decisive role in making differential privacy work effectively. Technical expertise is required to configure noise levels, track privacy budgets, and implement algorithms correctly. This often means assigning specialists, privacy engineers, or mathematicians who understand both the theoretical underpinnings and the operational challenges. Teams across the organization must also be trained in how differential privacy functions and why it matters, so they can apply it responsibly in their workflows. Monitoring outcomes ensures that protections remain effective, and alignment with governance or compliance functions creates accountability. Without this organizational infrastructure, even the best technical methods risk being misapplied or ignored, weakening the overall protection strategy. For practitioners, several practical takeaways stand out. Differential privacy provides formal guarantees that go far beyond traditional anonymization techniques, making it a powerful tool for responsible data use. At the same time, it requires navigating trade-offs between privacy and accuracy, which must be carefully calibrated for each context. Toolkits such as OpenDP, TensorFlow Privacy, and PyTorch implementations provide practical entry points but still demand expertise to configure properly. Regulatory frameworks increasingly recognize differential privacy, which means its adoption not only strengthens protections but also aligns with compliance requirements. By approaching it thoughtfully, organizations can make privacy a measurable, enforceable part of their AI systems. The forward outlook suggests that differential privacy will see broader use across industry and government. As frameworks become more accessible, smaller organizations will be able to adopt these techniques without requiring deep internal expertise. Regulators are likely to enshrine differential privacy as a preferred or required safeguard in high-risk applications, especially as standards converge globally. In governance, it will play a stronger role as part of transparency and accountability practices, with privacy budget reporting potentially becoming a standard expectation. Expansion into new modalities of data, including video, audio, and multimodal AI systems, will extend its relevance even further. This trajectory makes clear that differential privacy is on its way to becoming a universal standard for privacy-preserving computation. The key points of differential privacy can be summarized as follows. The mechanism relies on noise addition and the careful management of a privacy budget, providing strong guarantees that individual contributions cannot be identified. It has proven effective for both statistical data releases and machine learning applications, though challenges such as complexity and reduced accuracy remain. Toolkits and frameworks are making it easier to adopt, while regulatory recognition is accelerating its acceptance. The balance between privacy and utility remains central, requiring careful decisions tailored to the context of use. Understanding these points allows practitioners to see differential privacy as a powerful yet nuanced safeguard. In conclusion, differential privacy offers one of the most rigorous ways to protect individuals in data-driven systems. Its formal guarantees, grounded in mathematics, make it far more reliable than traditional anonymization, while its applications span from government statistics to deep learning. Organizations must grapple with challenges of complexity, cost, and accuracy, but the benefits, compliance, trust, and fairness are substantial. By embedding differential privacy throughout the lifecycle and aligning it with governance frameworks, organizations can demonstrate true accountability. This discussion naturally leads to the next episode, which explores federated and edge approaches, showing how decentralizing data processing can further strengthen privacy while supporting collaborative and scalable AI development. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.